I'm here at the Five Points News Center with the owner, Reeves. We're going to get a little bit of history on this news center. It's been open for 64 years and is one of the longest businesses down here in Five Points. Roy, can you give us some background on the history?
Well, in 1946, my father was a salesman for a magazine company. Duval News was the name of the company at the time. Decided to start a little magazine stand on the side. So in 1946, he started this little newsstand. And at the time, it was just a little place almost on the sidewalk. It's only about 3 or 4 feet deep, about 15 feet wide. And at nighttime, he'd put everything inside and covered it with a chicken wire. There's this gas station on the corner now where the Derby House was, and he used to rent space from the gas station. And behind the newsstand, he used to watch cars and everything at the gas station there. But over the years, we sort of continued. In 1952, 53, in that year, one of those years there, the Derby House was built there. They tore the Texaco gas station down and built the Derby House. And that's when they started expanding the newsstand. And over the years, we expanded 4 different times, till now it's about 22 feet by 30 feet, roughly 600 square feet altogether.
The magazines that you have carried in, I imagine that they grew since your father had the little newsstand. How many magazines would you say that you carried at the top of your?
At the top, the most we carried, on Sunday newspapers, we carried about 150 different towns across the country, across the U.S. And on magazines, I guess roughly, there's about 900 to 1,000 different titles, the magazines we carried. And over the years, with the recessions coming in the last 6, 7 years, magazines have been running into trouble, the newspapers have too, and they've been cutting down.
I understand that you worked this newsstand from the time you were a child. Is this true?
Yeah. When I started working here when I was 11 years old. I got 4 brothers. I got 1 brother and 4 sisters, and we all had to do our time at the newsstands. It grew roughly to about 5. It grew to 5 newsstands, and all of us had to work, and it was all free, gratis. It's just part of growing up at our house.
And this newsstand, as I understand it, is the last one in the city. Is that not true?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Due to the technology changes, everything, the computer, everybody's, if they want any information, they go on the computer now and get it.
And your father, he retired in?
He retired in 1992, and he put the newsstand up for sale at the time, and that's when me and my wife Louise bought the newsstand from him. And as you know, you started with us in 1992, and you've been with us for 18 years.
Yes, I have. I've seen a lot of changes in 18 years. I think the internet, the biggest thing that changed magazines is the internet. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Back in the day when your father had it, there weren't quite 1,000 magazines here.
No.
Can you tell us some of the stores that were down here in Five Points at that time?
Well, at that time when I first started here as a young fella, Fenton Stoves across the street, that was a Winn-Dixie. That Midnight Sun was a Towers Hardware. And over there across the street where the fuel is, that used to be a Woolworths. And we used to have the Five Points Theater. It was closed for a while, but Mike Shadd's come back and opened it back up. And we had the Five Points Men's Shop. We had the Esther Brooks Fashions for Women. And we had about 3 drugstores here at the time. They had their little soda fountains, whatever. And we had a grocery store right down the street here where they had boys with bicycles when I was young. And they would ride with baskets on their bicycles, and they'd run and make deliveries to the neighbors around here.
Okay, Roy, you've been here so long. Can you give us maybe some stories that you got?
Well, we used to be, back in the early 70s, the police used to be around all the time. We used to have policemen on the walking beats here and everything. And one of the funniest stories we always thought was amusing was the police used to come in every afternoon to do the traffic report. And in our supply room in the back here, we got a telephone back there. And they used to go in the back room and get the traffic report over the radio for the city there. And for many years, people thought that it was doing it from either a helicopter or an airplane when it was really in the back of the newsstand in the supply room. And another story we used to like to tell was we used to have a lot of people come around here wanting to borrow money. And my daddy used to tell them at the time there, we got agreement with the bank. The bank, well, they don't sell no magazines, and I don't loan no money.
Your father sounds like he was quite a character.
He was, he was. Back in those years, there's a lot of characters around this area here.
While we're on the subject of it, the magazines, back to the magazines have been cutting down through the years due to the publishers. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct there. A lot of them in the last few years, a lot of them's gone out of business. A lot of them's cut back. And the whole, everybody's got the, if you want a book now, a paperback book, hardback book, they just get it on the e-books, download it, and that's hurt our business. Our volume has really deteriorated in the last 2 or 3 years.
But all in all, I do believe that some people still would like their magazines.
They would. The newspapers, see, I'm like some of them old people there. I like to rustle it up, you know, smash it down,
Well,
look at it. I don't want to sit at a screen and look at it. But times are changing.
yeah, they are. They're definitely changing. I also understand that you and your wife own the Derby House next door. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. And what we're planning on doing there, we're not going to close the 5 Points News Center down. We're just going to move it. We're going to make it a Derby House newsstand. We're going to move all our newspapers, and everybody, all our customers can go over there and they still buy their newspapers early in the morning. They get a pastry and a cup of coffee to go, or they can sit there and read their newspapers.
That's been very interesting, Roy, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you.